one time I killed a guy on the football field. Did you hear about that? That was my senior year of high school. I hit a
Really?
guy. Yeah, hit a guy and he died.
Dude, I think I had that news clipping somewhere.
Yeah, and I actually gave his obituary. Like the family, the hit I made on him was such a good hit that they immediately forgave me, and then they gave me all the information about him and told me to do the eulogy.
It was just such a nice hit. Like, as fans of the game, they loved it.
Yes. Welcome to Hoagie Time, everybody.
Hey.
It's good to be back.
It is good to be back. It's been a few weeks, kids.
I know, my friend.
The year's great, man. The year's 2023. Welcome to the future.
Yes.
As we flew here in our flying cars. They're not out yet. They're not a thing yet. Well, I saw something they might be soon. But that's the last thing I fucking want is
I don't
a
want
car crash.
Another accident.
300 feet in the air and cars coming down after a crash.
I'm just figuring out how to learn. Like I just learned how to drive like a year ago. So we're like, I'm not getting in accidents. Now what? Now we're going to drive in the air.
Dude, let's hope not with that fucking gigantic truck you're driving around in these days.
I know.
Dude, there's no wiggle room.
Definitely like a dick thing.
You're gonna kill somebody if you hit them.
Thanks.
When you hit them.
When I hit them.
Speaking of that, we may or may not have talked about little fender bender that I was a victim of.
I remember this.
Yeah.
There's new news.
There's new news. There's new news, guys. So in to summarize, a month or so ago, I was rear-ended on 95, slow speed.
Great story, by the way.
Slow speed.
I know the story, so.
Yeah, I was telling the story on an earlier podcast as an exorbitant amount of edibles hit me like a ton of bricks, and not confirming or denying, but we may have had to scrap the entire episode because I was on another planet. But anyway, it was a slow speed collision. I like that word. There was an accident on 95 South, and as traffic was merging, I had already merged.
Right.
Expertly so.
Yeah, you're a good driver.
I'm an excellent driver. And I was there, and then boom, I get the lid on.
Little guy.
What the fuck?
Right.
And I look in my rearview mirror, and it's this woman that I was next to a minute earlier on 95 before we merged, and she was so fucked up. Like
drunk, drugs, or like
all of the above. Had to have been. I looked over and was like, Jesus Christ, this woman is wasted. It was her. Holy shit. So there was a state trooper right there that was helping with the accident, and he saw us, and he waves us off of the off-ramp down into, so when you're on 95, exactly. When you're on 95, if there's a car accident, that is the state trooper's job because it's an interstate.
Right.
He took us off the interstate onto Bartram or whatever, Enterprise Avenue, one of the side streets, and writes us both up. Or no, writes us up for the information. She gets out of her car, is like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, hey, it's cool, just back in your car.
Yeah.
The cop's like, what do you want me to do? The trooper, sorry. Shout out troopers everywhere. He goes, what do you want me to do? He goes, you guys can just exchange information. I said, I want you to do it because I don't want to miss anything. And like,
check
whatever.
on this girl to see if she's fucking.
I wish I said that, but I thought it was so obvious that she was whacked.
And you're not a rat. You've never been, so like you're not going to take that step. But I'm.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not going to, if it's her lucky day, it's her lucky day. And after a while, the trooper tells me I can go. And I'm texting my brother in the meantime and a few of my other dogs.
Who's also not a rat.
None of us are.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this chick is fucked up. Like, this is going to be a daytime DUI for her.
Yeah.
So when he goes, you can get out of here, I head out. And
never got one of those
what?
daytime DUIs. Night times.
I never got a daytime
not a
daytime
daytime,
either.
that's
Yeah,
impressive.
not a daytime either. So as I'm driving off, I'm looking in my rear view and I'm like, cool, like I'm about to, like, she's about to get fucking field sobriety tested, whatever. Wow. And then I see her drive off too, and I go, no fucking way. It's her lucky day, whatever. 3 minutes down the road, I'm at a red light. Boop. I look in my rear view, no fucking way. It's her again. And I was cool the first time, but now I'm in my rear view mirror going, what the fuck are you doing?
What are the fucking odds?
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I got my hand out the window. I'm pointing like to pull over. She flips me off and takes off. I take a picture of her as she goes. To wrap things up, I call the state troopers and I'm like, hey, this is what happened. They're like, well, where did it happen? And I'm like, oh, the Island Avenue and blah, blah, blah. They're like, that happened in Philadelphia. That's no longer a troopers thing.
Yeah.
That might have been our thing the first time. It's not anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, you can go to the Philadelphia police if you want. Oh, boy, did I ever want to. I was not going to let this shit slide. I had to go to West Philly in a very, 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 it was shady. It was a shady neighborhood, and I was dressed to the nines.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think my people, real recognizes real. I didn't feel at risk of getting, you know, messed with because they get it. And I wrote up a second fucking police report for her.
Oh, they did? So you end up coming to Philadelphia and you tell them.
No one came, but I went to the office in Philadelphia and explained to them what happened, and they wrote it again. Then I don't think she realized that after the first collision, when the trooper, thank goodness that I had him write us both up.
Yeah.
I had her name, her address, her phone number. She's not anonymous. Like, there was zero reason for her to run from the second one. So I've got all of her shit. Her insurance company.
I respect it, though. I respect the runaway, but she's an idiot for it. Yeah.
Maybe not, though, because I call Progressive.
Yeah.
And I filed a claim. They're like, all right, we're going to get a hold of her. I don't hear anything for a few weeks. Right. And I'm not the type to call every day. I kind of forget about it a little bit. Yeah. And I go check in, and they're like, she's not returning our calls. We're trying to reach out. She's not the one. She's not the one on the policy anyway.
Give me a little background on her. What is she like?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This will be fairly easy. Think Wildwood Boardwalk first week of June. Down for the week before things get heat up. Before the ocean's too cold still. Yeah. So all the hotels are at discounts.
Discount. Okay. So
she probably had a triple extra large Bugs and Taz t-shirt on.
Gotcha.
I mean,
I have her. Okay.
Heavy set blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen Cops before.
I have.
You know, the type of chick that with a bloody nose. And the guy is yelling, "She hit me, Ossifer. Yeah. She hit me." Yeah. One of those.
Okay.
So I kind of lose it on Drew, the Progressive rep. And I go, "What, man? So I'm fucked?" He's, "Oh, well, Mr. McGuire, you know, we're working on." I go, "Look, bro, like, I know it's not your fault, but dude, my insurance is telling me I'm going to have to pay out of pocket for this. I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
And if your customer's not returning your calls, you got to vet your customers better.
How does
this
that fall
isn't on me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So a week later, he calls me back and he's like, "Yo, we got a hold of them, whatever." So that's the end of the story. I'm going to get my shit fixed in a couple weeks. But it is smart what she did because no DUI.
Yeah.
I can't prove that she was fucked up after the fact.
Right.
She got away with it.
Holy shit.
So that is some real one shit that I have to respect.
Yeah. Now, because you had her information and there was already like a contact that was her fault.
Yeah.
Did it matter that there was a second one? Because even if there was a second one, you have her for the first, and you could have put all the damage onto that one.
Maybe not, but I was red hot, Mike. Yeah. I wasn't going to let this one get away. Wow, I was going to document the second one as well. I was going to drive to the inner city.
So what are you saying? Like, in a situation like that, just kind of take your chances. Maybe don't stop and pull over the side of the road. You have a good shot to get the fuck away.
Dude, I didn't realize it was going to come down to official advice. Yeah. I just thought, but looking at the situation, kids, I think the move is to flee the scene. Flee the scene. I'm going to have to say to flee the scene.
Yeah.
Is the move.
I'm doing it. My next accident, absolutely going to flee the scene. Now
especially if you're on, you know,
if you're on,
if you're loose,
or whatever. Yeah, if you're loose and you get away with it one time, if you hit anybody else on the way home, again, just go.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel irresponsible giving out advice like this. It truly does. And it's not the show that we're aspiring to be. But what we are aspiring to do is always shoot you straight and always be real. And I'm going to have to say fleeing is the move.
Fleeing is the move.
Has to be.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that.
Intriguing, right?
Yeah. I think Philadelphia right there is lawless. Like, it's always felt lawless. If I had a gig like in the past, and if it was anything in Philly where I had to go 95.
Especially the real deep, dark areas where you gigged a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Solo jazz gigs.
Yes, like West Philly gigs and shit. Anytime I ever had to drive 95 and get off Bartram through Delco that way, I felt like $1 million. Nothing was going to happen to me.
While we're talking strategy to avoid prosecution, I've had this idea for a long time. I don't condone driving drunk.
He doesn't.
I don't. However, think about this scenario.
Yeah.
You're driving drunk. You get pulled over. I think the move, this might be a technicality, but if you were to throw your key, you pull over to the side of the road.
Right.
HT, and feel free to chime in.
I get where you're going. Yeah.
Throw the keys out of your window and start chugging a bottle of liquor. Like, keep a bottle of whiskey or vodka underneath your seat. Throw the keys out and start chugging the whiskey in the car. What the fuck are you doing? Oh, I got nervous. as dumb as that is, they can't prove that you were driving drunk. They can't prove, right, that you have ingested alcohol before you started chugging that liquor.
I mean, that's ballsy. That's ballsy.
Can I ruin your
I get
pipe
where you're
dream?
going, but
You can chime in, but I don't think there's any ruin in this pipe dream.
All right. So think about this. They pull you over under suspicion, right?
right.
And they field test you and you blow, say, .07.
I blew a .10 once.
But
And
what
I
I'm
was so
saying,
pissed.
yeah,
I was
so
like,
you're-
fuck, I
you're
should have got more
1/10
fucked up.
underneath, right? They're still going to take you into custody, and then they're going to take blood from you, right? By the time
You can deny that. You can deny the blood.
you could, but most of the time people will just still go.
Right.
By the time they get to the ER or wherever they're drawing the blood or doing another certified breathalyzer test, you've already coasted above the legal limit. So that's how they get you. So while you're chugging that,
Right.
while you're chugging that, he just saw you physically drink something.
I get where you're going with
Right.
that.
But from that
that's-
bottle of liquor, it's also going to ramp up.
they'll,
Right?
I think that
you're going to get an open
that's-
container,
there's-
and you know.
Fellas, I think there's some gray area here.
I
Let's
get-
not be
I-
so quick to
I get
dismiss.
the gray area, but no.
This is
I
pretty
think-
genius, dude.
I know, but I think if they see in the car, there's enough cameras and shit that just saw you swigging and all that kind of
Right.
shit. Like, you know.
Not trying to hide that you swug from the bottle. Swug, swigged, whatever. Not hiding that. You're hiding the fact that you were driving drunk previously.
Yeah.
You're by drinking that liquor in the car.
You'd have to have like the best lawyer. Who's the best? Like Johnny Depp's lawyer or something.
Definitely not that John Morgan guy.
Not yet. John Morgan. That's such a weak slogan.
So considering that I'm not trying to hide the liquor chug is in fact the diversion from the earlier drinking.
I like.
And technically, I threw the keys out of the car, and the cop can be like, "What is this all about?" I'm just so nervous. I just chugged, and that's a dumb move.
Yes.
but it might work.
I don't think it will, but I like where your head's at. You know,
Look.
beating the law.
A legal mind here at work.
I was told though by a cop, if you are like right around that limit, to maybe deny the blood test, try to elongate the blood, like going back and getting blood, because by then, if you're under, then that's the legal thing. So if you know you only had a couple beers and they're saying you're right there, if you can elongate it like an hour, that's a good thing.
By trying to hook up with the officer.
No, you just gotta be like, no, you know, I don't want to get blood taken, and then kind of maybe agree to it like a half an hour after giving them a hard time. So just give them a hard time.
Yeah. Either way, Hoagies, wherever you are, we've got some homework for you.
Yeah.
We have some theories that we need fleshed out.
I know. But yeah, those EMTs like just taking blood and shit. Did you see speaking of EMTs, that football game? You saw that Hamlin thing? God bless him. We won't spend too much time on it, but that was pretty crazy. He seems to be alive. That's good. But the funnier thing, he's good. He's
Funnier.
alive.
Like, that's funny to begin with.
Yeah, it's not funny, but there's another guy that was playing yesterday for Green Bay that a guy was coming out to like somebody was hurt and a player pushed him. Like he had a breakdown or something. He pushed the
trainer.
The trainer.
I
in
did
the
see
back.
that.
And
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing? Especially after last week, you're going to push the trainer that's coming out to like help a hurt person. The dude started like,
It's not the first time he's done it, this dude.
he's a little wacky. Yeah.
And even better, I saw a celebration by the Steelers where they fake gave someone CPR on the field. How fucking tone deaf is that? I'm sure they didn't set out to like shit on
Yeah.
whoever the guy's name is.
I always thought in
You're
football,
probably halfway through that going, fuck, bad timing,
No,
fuck.
they don't think like that. I never thought in
Ooh.
football.
Who's they?
I always thought the NFL. But in football, I always thought there's nobody dumber than a D-back, a defensive back. After every play that they think that the wide receiver didn't get, they start cheering and doing all types like, and they're getting flags thrown on them, and they don't care. Like the coach will be like, "Stop doing that! Every time we're getting a penalty." They'll celebrate the next time. But now I guess everybody's stupid. Now the defensive linemen are doing CPR after somebody almost dies.
Well, all the blood that their hogs require. Not a whole lot of brain blood left.
There's a porn star, like a famous girl porn star that I
Name the name. I'm sure I know her.
Lisa Ann.
I actually don't know her.
Lisa Ann. She's a famous like MILF or whatever. She said that the NBA players are the like unbelievably like by far the best because like they're so athletic and fit and all that. Like all of them have like 9-inch hogs.
How awkward would it be to have a normal sized dick, like as an NBA black guy, and like your and when I say normal, I'm like
Yeah.
like regular,
7 for
or like a normal like 5'10" normal dude, like not even normal for a 7-footer, like just normal.
Yeah, like 5 inches. Like probably
Man,
5.
imagine trying to hide that.
I heard
Everyone's got
Shaq-
these hoagies
I
and
heard
like,
Shaq's not that big for as big as he is.
really?
Yeah,
I've
like
seen him on the roasts, and all the roasts are like, oh, it's Kevin Hart's. Is that Kevin Hart or Shaq's dick?
Yeah, no.
I can't imagine him having a normal.
I haven't had sex with him, but
Well, you guys have messed around enough.
We've messed around enough to know that it's not what you think it is,
Wow.
and that you can take that from me.
It's probably still so mammoth, dude. There's no way it's disappointing.
No, he's definitely packing something, but I guess like UFC guys would probably be like the most regular because they're just like guys from the neighborhood that are just tough and crazy and just trained for fight. None of them look like they have the best athletic like pedigree.
I only hang out with dudes that are 8 inches or more, and it's not a gay thing. It's just like a tough thing.
It's a tough thing, yeah.
for me.
Yeah. Well, you always
Well, like if I'm hanging out, like if we're hanging out with a group of dudes, like, and like there's like a new guy that might be part of the group.
the first thing is you guys.
It's not a date. No, it's not the first thing, but like maybe like 3 or 4 hangs in. It's like, all right, like how can
do
we
it.
see this dude's hog? Like
Yeah.
we have to see if it pans out, and if it doesn't,
I have a funny story.
we have a hard conversation to
I
have.
have a funny
No
story
pun
that's
intended.
kind of like that. When we were in grade school, you had the show that you had pubic hair. And looking
Yeah.
back on it, like you remember that? Like
Yeah.
you weren't cool. Like all right, you have them yet? Like, and if you're in like 7th grade and like developed late, all the cool kids be like, yeah, see, and then there'd be a few kids that like didn't. I remember getting regular hair and taping it down.
Dude,
taping
fuck
it down
that.
there
You're
for-
kidding me.
Yes, for that reason. Just so if anybody ever called me out, I could show like here, not knowing that it's different,
So many
it's different
questions,
hair.
dude. So many questions.
Luckily, like 3 months later, I hit puberty. Didn't have to do that. But I
Do you
was
need
prepared.
length on the taped on muff and let the muff hang out over the waistband?
No,
Because
you
if you go down long enough, they're going to see it's taped.
Right, right.
And what tape is going to hold hair on?
Nobody looked like that. They just let you go down and kind of find one and show it.
Find one and show it, like
One or two,
pluck.
pluck, yeah, pluck.
Really?
Yeah, that was my crew.
I don't remember a pluck thing. I remember it was kind of like just show the hairline.
Maybe your crew. We had to actually pluck and provide it to the group at like a table.
I remember some dudes used to get ragged on. Oh, you're pubeless. Like you're a
Yeah.
little boy. Like
Mitchell didn't get him till like sophomore year of high school, maybe junior.
and now like that's the move to look nice and clean and
Yeah,
smooth.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
Euro, dude.
It's very yeah.
I spent enough time in Europe to know it's Europe, dude. The fucking bald anteaters.
Yeah.
It's sophisticated. It's a whole nother level of sophistication. You wouldn't understand.
That was rough. That memory comes back in my head. I'm like, fuck, man, we were weird kids.
Speaking of cocks, we haven't met in a few weeks. Did
Yes.
you have a nice holiday, a nice
Great
New Year's, or anything to
holiday,
recap here?
Damn, I don't think so. I think I just had a nice, relaxing.
Yeah, I had nice holidays. We had a fun time. I came by JT Brewski's and saw
Yes, yeah,
Barkley Smith.
yes,
Pat
yeah, it
Smith was
cool
in
to have
town for a
Pat
little
Smith
bit.
Back, he came back, and it was cool to play with him, and it was awesome. You sat in for one. BT was there.
Yeah,
Drummer
BT was there. BT was in a real nice mood. Yo, shout out BT. I haven't seen BT in a while before that night, and he was in a great mood. A happy BT is a rare BT,
Yes,
but a very lovely BT.
He was in great spirits.
And he said how much he likes the show. So we appreciate you listening, BT. Fucking man, yeah, that was a fun night, man.
That was a good show. Yeah,
One of our boys, and we're not going to go into his name
the
or
story,
anything like
yes.
that, but one of our boys got a blowjob in an Uber.
from the Uber driver.
From the female Uber driver,
Yeah.
let's be clear.
Yeah, that's a big-
Don't want to drop his name. Don't want to incriminate or whatever. But it wasn't even a chick that he used to know. It's not like a girl from high
It
school.
was a straight pickup from
Total straight pickup. Never met before. She picked him up. They're rolling. It's maybe a half-hour ride back to like the Clifton area.
Yeah.
And just talking. He's like, "Hey, I've been traveling for business a lot." She said, "Oh, how's that been going?" He's like, all right. But, it's kind of been me and a bunch of older people, not a whole lot of like young or whatever. And I don't know how it got sexual. But how filthy is this?
Yeah, I didn't ask.
I don't know how it got sexual, but the line that she dropped was, "I'm a cum slut." And he's like, what? What does that mean?
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, she's like, I like to fuck. I like to, give head, whatever. Like, I'm,
Yeah,
I don't want to make this podcast too smut.
Everybody's jerking off.
After we just got on
Get your
a
tissues
15-minute
ready,
cock
everybody.
conversation.
Yeah.
I'll use a little bit of
Half the guys I know are done already.
yeah.
Grab your tissues.
Yeah, but he's like, what does that mean? And she's like, basically, I'm very promiscuous and whatever. And he's like, well, it's been a little while, blah blah blah. And I think they're driving, and I think she's just like, "Do you want me to suck your dick now?" And he was like, yeah. It's okay. So he's telling me the story, and he's like, so we're heading down a main road. Well, whatever. Baltimore Pike. We're going to show the picture anyway. It's because it's awesome. And then you can see where they go off route. There's a little curly Q, a little pigtail, like a little pig's tail. And he goes, we went off course a couple blocks.
Yeah, they peel behind something.
By like some apartment complex. We park. She comes around into the back. She hums me. I was like, oh, was it nice? He goes, it was great, but I couldn't really finish. He's like, I had to apologize and say, hey, a little Adderall, whatever.
Oh my God.
And she's like, it's all right. And then continues on the ride. So I will text you. I couldn't get enough of this photo because you could see the pole. Yeah. He goes, as soon as we pulled off route, 30 seconds after they went off route, her phone starts blowing up from Uber, like security check.
Wow.
And his phone's blowing up too because they're like, hey, what's going on? Like, are you kidnapped? And like, they're not answering phones, but he's like, it was like a security, like red alert on the on the side of Uber.
Oh my.
And then they went back off and he was like, hey, maybe I'll come another time. Like, I've got more in me. Maybe, are you driving later? And she's like, yeah, maybe. But like, maybe not.
Never again?
I don't know if they met again, but I do know that hours later, when he was telling me the story, he looked like he saw a ghost.
Yeah.
He was so taken aback by the randomness of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's.
And I was like, was she hot? And right away he goes, no, she wasn't. She was a full figure. She was a heavy set Puerto Rican miss, but he was just enamored by the animalistic vibe.
Yeah.
And I was too.
Oh my God.
I was captivated by the story.
But I didn't know the specifics. Wow.
Yeah.
And you can see, like, if we see the root, there's like a little moose knuckle where it kind of like peers
a little tiny fish hook.
And then comes back
to
the road.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, after he finishes the story, first question I ask.
Yeah.
What do you do there? Do you pay for the head? And he goes, no. He goes, no. He goes, she didn't ask for money for that.
Yeah.
He goes, I paid for the Uber ride, but I did tip 100% on the Uber or close to it. If it was.
That's fair.
And, my fractions, he goes, it was like a $30-some ride. He goes, I tipped $20, but it's not like she threw the gauntlet down and was like, okay, if this is going to happen, it costs this.
Yeah.
It was super casual. Well, she's a cum slut. She just enjoyed it too.
She was taken by him. Wow, that's a story that maybe happens once in a million times, and that happened to him. That was the same day as that gig, the Brewski's gig.
Yeah,
wow. Huh.
Looked like he saw a ghost. He's like that's how I got here. Like that's how I whatever. That's how I got to the immediate area.
Wow. I gotta start taking Uber more. I gotta stop driving.
It never happens. It doesn't happen.
Yeah. If you hear that happens once, it's not happening again.
Yeah.
It's
like my buddy hit on a scratch off ticket for $1 million. It's like I'm going to start playing them. No,
go spend 20 grand on it.
Done. That's the whole area used its one.
Yeah, it's over.
Yes,
starting again as nobody's winning anything.
Yeah. So that's a nice happy New Year for him and a great story. Is that a New Year's resolution for you, Mike? More Uber rides?
More Uber rides, yeah. Did you make any this year? New Year's resolution. Every year I want to obviously get in shape, and it never happens.
Yeah.
The album, remember? Like I have the album.
Oh my God.
I'm supposed to have made an album for the last 10 years. And every year it's going to be done by December.
That was 4 years ago, right? And like you were on the Story Time with Boots podcast.
Yeah,
Shout out Boots.
Yeah, man.
And he like blindsided you. And he was like, oh, well, how about an album?
Like, what are you doing? Like,
and this was like October, and you were like, it'll be out by Christmas. I remember listening to it, dude. I fucking lost it. There's so much work goes into it.
So much work. But I'm like, the songs are written, and by Christmas, like I hope to, have one out.
That was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And you said it was coming out in 2 months. In 3 months.
Christmas, yeah. So this year, though, that album's coming out in December. So to get
you really have no excuse now because you have a studio now down here with multi-track recording.
Yeah,
there's never been an excuse. Let's do it. Let's make this the year though.
Yeah,
whatever we need to do to support you.
Yeah,
let's do it, Mike. We want it.
Okay,
the fans want the songs.
I'm in.
Well, all right, then that's one I'm going to keep. But I'm not getting in shape.
All right, fair enough.
Let's see. I wanted to stop drinking Diet Coke.
Well, you're doing well on that.
Just replace it with Bud Lights.
I'm replacing it with Bud Lights. I don't know. Other than that, I don't really have one.
I don't make official New Year's resolutions, and I've always been a don't talk about it, be about it
guy.
Type guy. But I've been walking a lot since the new year. I hit 280 pounds on the scale.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
It's a
And,
whole
it was just-
different level of breathing at night. And
Yes,
stuff.
dude.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a wake up
Snoring
call.
and
I mean, I
stuff,
still
yeah.
look really handsome. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
look.
I mean, you always have that, but
I'm always able. I feel like I carry it where people are like, "Oh, you're not that," whatever.
Yeah,
but like,
you
whatever,
carry it right.
whatever. Still, it's too much. And yeah, dude, I started walking. I mean, I'm too heavy to start jogging, and it's gonna wreck
Yeah.
my legs if I try.
Yeah, you gotta get
So I'm
down to, like,
getting nice
2:30 or
walks in,
so.
dude. I gotta walk in like an hour and a half ago. I just figured it would kind of give me some energy for tonight, clear my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
No headphones. The first few times I had my earbuds in. Now I just like the silence. I just like the crisp
Do you
night
hear,
air.
like the night. Yeah.
Just think.
Do you use the watch?
Yeah, dude, I love gadgets. I
like-
got an Apple Watch, and it's
When I did lose weight before, that was a major factor. The fact that kept me accountable. And like once I got into it, I was like, oh, then I was like a competition. Like I better get over 12,000.
Yeah.
And then like if I didn't, I would just get up and start walking.
yeah,
It's no coincidence that I haven't worn it in a few years. But
and I feel better, and even mentally too. Like I feel like it's better for mental. But like, I'm not gonna post shit. Like I wouldn't say anything publicly if we weren't just bullshitting on a podcast. Because it's so cringy to me, and we've talked about this before. When people are like, day one at the gym, really excited for a new chapter. And you're like, don't set yourself up
Don't
for
say
failure
yes.
like that. Like, I wish you all the best. I hope it works out. But
Yeah.
like, talk about it once you've achieved it.
and after all this,
Do it quietly.
quietly. And it's always the same people that when you see them do that, you're like, oh, it didn't work out the last couple of years, and they're doing this again.
And I cringe harder because I've done it before. And I was like, no, but it's going to help keep me accountable if
Yeah,
it's public. Whatever.
Yeah.
We wish everybody the best of luck with their resolutions, of course.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to move more. I can definitely be lighter. Drinking more Amstel Light. I drank.
Is it good? You like it?
I do. I like it, but like I also like to feel my beer when I have a few.
Right. And that's
I
very
had
light.
I had 10 or 11 of these the night we were hanging at Brewski's, and I didn't feel it.
Anything.
Nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Like and whatever. And I guess the
typically-
purpose of having beers isn't to get fucked up all the time. But welcome to Delaware County.
Yeah. Now
it is here.
Yeah. But how about shots? To throw a couple shots in there with those.
I ended up throwing a couple shots in, and then I wanted a fucking nice thick IPA to get my bitter fix. I didn't that night. But whatever. A little bit more Amstel Light, a little bit more movement. Other things that I want to do this year. I want to read more. I want to be on my phone less.
Yes. Great topic.
I want to get better at electric guitar. Like I know my way around it because it's a completely different instrument. We've talked about this a few times, but what I'd like to do is read some books this year, maybe keep track of how many I read just for the fuck of it, but also learn some classic solos, like build up some vocabulary on guitar and like learn how like they're constructed and things like that. So I'm working on Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix because I saw something recently where somebody was like, it's not too difficult, but it's a lot of the main vocabulary that you can take with you and whatever. So
any other solo, a lot
so
of those
we'll
blues
see,
kinda-
but just fun shit like that. Like just it's been so long since I'm like I want to learn this song.
Yeah.
Then you know if you got it or if you don't. I don't just mean like the riff or the chords, but like to really learn what's
really
going
do the
on.
solo
Yeah.
and all that. And
So
understand
just
it,
you know,
Well, I love what you guys are saying, like because my stupid resolution was like, go find something that you used to love listening to. It could have been a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and rediscover it.
yeah, dude, that's a
And-
great one.
That's
And this is the one thing because I was at storage and I had something from Coley, right? It was Jaco Pastorius's book, like his music book. So I'm like, dude, I forgot about this guy, the fretless bass. I'm like, I did a deep dive the other day. I was like,
Nice.
God damn,
That's
I forgot
incredible.
how good he was.
and what he was just saying, he said, find something you used to enjoy. He said, enjoy listening to, but just stop right there at enjoy. Like that'd be awesome. Like for anybody's resolution, do something more that you used to enjoy.
Yeah.
I used to love going to see live music or like a LeCompte or like a live show, like a real, like a national act or, I love that, but I do it so rarely. And
Yeah, we talk a lot off mic when we're hanging out about mental health and stuff like that, ups and downs and whatever. And especially in the last few years, a lot of people are dealing with the same things.
yeah.
And I think the older you get or whatever, everyone deals with it. But like now that we're all in like well into our 40s, it's so hard. Like just the things that we used to love, they don't just happen automatically anymore. And if you're not making time for it, it's not just going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can forget to make time for things like that.
Yes.
And I feel like that's really important for mental health because if you go months upon months without like
Any
that.
kind of
Oh, I
release.
love this being triggered.
like a release of like
Yeah.
that.
You have to make time for that shit.
Yeah.
So, dude, that's great to identify that. Like, go
every
go see
time
some music.
I'd see live music. I'd be like, wow, this is what I always loved. Why don't I do this? Makes me as happy as I've
Yeah.
ever been. Why don't I do it more?
And
But
that
you're
goes-
right, at our age. You got to make time for it.
You have to make time for it. And it's easy to not do it.
Yeah, because like I know me personally, I'll just book gigs because that's working. I'm supposed to make money. I'm a man, blah, blah, blah. But I'm unhappy, like, because I don't need to maybe play 5 times and work 5 days a week. I can play 3 times and go see a show and actually have like a release of happiness.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is a real resolution that I will try to keep.
Like, even with like, I feel like at some point I feel like I've outgrown open mics because it's like people know me. I can book gigs and whatever. But
Yeah,
what I think
you don't need that to get a gig.
yeah. But like, right, I don't need them to get a gig. But what I used to enjoy about them was coming across songwriters, like people that don't care about if they play a Barnaby's or not,
Yeah.
but they write songs in their bedroom. And I used to love seeing the person that doesn't aspire to be anything more than writing songs for their enjoyment and
Yeah.
hearing their songs and being like, cool, and kind of get me in that mindset to write.
Right.
Like when I was writing, open mics were a big part of that.
huge
Like just
thing, yeah.
being around it and hearing new songs from different people.
and you do find a diamond in the rough sometimes. Remember
Yeah,
Greg
hell
Jones
yeah.
that time we were
Yes.
Greg Jones.
Yo, shout out Greg Jones.
Yeah,
He's the man.
And we were just kids playing cover songs, chords like tablatures and stuff. This guy came and it was like knocked our socks off. He was a real artist,
Yeah.
real musician. It was like whoa, and I know that probably lit a fire in us. We probably went home and started writing at that, just watching him, So yeah, you're right. Like
Remember his lead guitarist, that guy Q? He was super tiny.
real short, and he's a short guy, so that guy had to be
Yes.
like 5 foot.
Right. I mean, he was like really sophisticated player. Like he
Yeah.
had this really nice guitar, and what he was doing, it was
Yeah.
like it was just super sophisticated playing.
Yeah.
My cousin got married 10 years after the fact, and this band and this like this real posh place and this kind of like buttoned up, like real classy, like jazz ensemble shows up.
Right.
And right away I'm like,
I know you.
that's Q. Oh my God, that's the guy Q. And the first break,
Yeah.
I come right up, I'm like, oh, are you Q? He's like, yeah. I go, Greg Jones? He's like, yeah, I know him. And I brought up our open mic, and if he didn't remember it,
Yeah.
he did a good job of acting like he
acting like
did,
he
but
did, yeah.
it was him.
That was
Shout out Q, shout out Greg Jones.
Cool. Yeah, I agree. I agree with what you said. Like, at this point, we're not going out every week to those things,
Yeah.
to those anymore, because it's usually young guys trying on the come up. But for the camaraderie and like the things you find are very inspiring. It's tough to be inspired when you're just playing Barnaby's, which is great, pays the bills.
Yep.
But you're
Like
not-
what I found, like life, like the great shit with life just doesn't come and knock on your door. You have to know what you like, and you have to seek it out. And like years upon years have gone by where like I wasn't seeking it out, and things just become so mundane. But once you realize seeing live music is what kind of turns me on,
Right.
then go see it.
and do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop making every excuse not to.
Yeah, it's not like a concert's not going to knock on your door and be like, "Hey, come see us," or like just
And that can go for like sports or anything. Like if going to a Phillies game and you realize
Yeah.
like life's taking you out of that like leisure time, like no, make time to go there and like sit there and have a beer and like look at the green grass. Like it's therapeutic.
and check on your friends too, because it's so easy for a year or two to go by, and some of your best friends, I haven't reached out to some of my best friends, or they haven't reached out to me, or both.
Right.
And then next thing you know, 3 years have gone by.
Yeah.
I'm going to the Sixers game tomorrow night with John Ardito. I don't know if you remember
Yeah,
John
yeah.
or not, but
You played with them.
yeah. John runs Sugar Bomb Entertainment right now. He's a phenomenal drummer, band leader. He does wedding stuff now, but he was in that band called BAM. He played on my album. But anyway, like we saw a Sixers game last year. He kind of like reached out of nowhere. You want to
Yeah.
see a game? Sure. Let's go. We had a good time. Then like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he reached out again. You down for another game this year? Yeah.
That's cool.
How about January 10th? Awesome.
yeah, that's cool. That's rare.
So
People
rare,
don't do
dude.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so rare.
Because they get wrapped up in their thing and they assume everybody's fine. It's not like people are being mean or like don't mean to like not check on anybody. Everyone's got their own lives.
Right.
But man, if somebody did that, that would just be like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That means like,
And like my inner circle, or like dudes that I would think are my inner circle, I know are my inner circle.
Yeah.
That never happens. And I'm not calling anyone out. I don't expect it. I don't call anyone,
Right.
asking anyone to
Yeah.
go to a game. It's just super cool that he
get
thought
that,
about that.
yeah.
It's rare.
yeah, I got a text from a buddy just like that, like 3 weeks ago or so, just saying, yo, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. Like, I hope everything's good. We're grab a beer soon. We haven't yet, but just to get the text felt like, all right, cool. Like, I think about him. He thinks about me. We haven't seen each other a couple of years. We were buds, you know?
This is awesome. Lots of life lessons for our hoagies out there. Always flee the scene.
Right.
Check on your friends.
Right. I mean, I talked to my high school. Oh wow,
That was a quick one.
I talked to my high school best friend maybe once or twice a year. He's a father of 6 kids, Navy veteran. He's living in San Diego. He doesn't have time for me to talk about the glory days of Bonner High School.
Right.
He's raising his
Which
kids.
were awesome, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. And we had a ball. I mean, like but he comes around every 4 or 5 years, man. But like when he gets here, man, we do live it up. I will admit.
Nice.
That's
It's like,
good. You know,
it's
that's
just funny. You know,
that's
like,
a good
you know,
example to set. Like, always make sure, you know, get with your guys once a year.
Yeah.
It's a cool thing.
Yeah, at least. And if you have to put it on the calendar, you have to put it on the calendar. Fuck it. Like, shit's just not spontaneous anymore. But do it. Put it on the calendar.
I have like an outside kind of thought of like a resolution that I always, one of these years I'm going to do it.
All right.
I kind of want to do jujitsu.
So do I.
I have a close friend who does it, and like he goes every week, loves it, and I'm not that kind of guy that like would normally do something like that, but I think it's so cool that like at 40 you can start something new and do something that is foreign for the other 40 years. Like,
Yeah.
At some point I want to do something that's completely different from my trajectory of life so far.
100%.
Pick up something totally new, you know, because it's such a cool thing to for your health too. But like, you know, I like UFC fights and all that
Dude,
shit. You know,
kicking ass, being able to kick ass, kicks ass. Like, if you're going to do something to get in shape, like, great, dudes are playing pickleball and whatnot. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, your pickleball can be learning how to fuck someone up.
yeah,
God forbid you're in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, you can defend
There's
yourself.
many
Or you can
benefits.
cruise around looking for shit.
yeah. There's many benefits of it. You know?
Lots of benefits. What does that mean, Tom?
So
Oh, we're
is
just
that,
doing a good.
is
We
that
have
19023?
solid 32 right now, guys.
Excellent.
I mean, we're having a good conversation.
Excellent.
I'm just letting you guys know we're having a great conversation. So
Did you see the Dana?
I thought
White,
that was some kind of white supremacy. What?
See the Dana White thing? Him smacking
Yes,
his
dude.
bitch up.
are we
Yes.
sponsored by ESPN before we can say anything? Because boy, they blocked all that.
I know, man. It's funny how some people get chewed on the carpet, and then other people are like, "Yeah, let's give him a pass on this."
Yeah.
Like, he got her good, and like, you know, things happen, but he did get it. Like there's other people would get crucified.
Yeah. Like, it's been swept under the rug
Yeah,
really, really quickly. Shit happens. And I'm not condoning, but like everyone's got a phone in their hands these days.
yeah.
He didn't punch her in the face. Like,
It's not fair.
she slapped him first. We don't know what the fuck she said, first and foremost. Don't be so quick. Don't be so quick to condemn.
It's very true because there weren't cameras around 20, 30 years. It's very easy for somebody to be a Monday morning quarterback now and be like, oh my God, well, guess what? In the 80s, when you guys were arguing with your girlfriends, nobody saw your worst moment. Now everyone sees your worst moment. And,
Bear was judge and executioner at the same time, jury and executioner. If you saw that shit happen,
yeah, at the
you
bar.
know.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Like, in the neighborhood I grew up in, I have so many stories that seem like bullshit that aren't. So it was row homes. It was a horseshoe where it wrapped around. If you can picture a horseshoe, it was a one-way street that kind of came off of one street. There were, again, row homes. Let's say there were 60 houses. We were
The
playing.
Westmont Park section of
Yeah, but up the street, there were 3 or 4 guys that would beat on their wives, and we were all so on top of each other that you would hear it echo throughout the neighborhood.
Wow.
Like, we'd be out playing stickball, and you would hear someone getting, like a wife
up a
getting
little bit.
smacked the fuck up. And this is before 911 was even a thing.
Yeah.
Like, you had to dial, like, the 7-digit. And
610-565-6500.
hey, and but like back then, even if someone knew that number offhand, no one called the cops. The dads would mostly be sitting on their front steps drinking.
and the moms will call the kids in.
You'd get a couple dads standing up, and you'd kind of get like the nonverbals, and you'd get like 3 or 4 dads that would just spur the moment, form a little peacekeeping group.
Yeah.
They would enter the home. Serious, swear to God, they would enter the home and break it up, but it was handled in-house as a neighborhood. The cops weren't involved.
Right.
It happened all the fucking
Right.
time,
It's
dude.
obviously a better thing now.
Yes. I'm not saying that's better at all.
It's just the way it was. You're right.
It's the way it was, and like no one had a phone to document shit.
Yeah. So when you see this Dana White kind of thing, it's like, yeah, it's horrible. A man should never hit a woman, but things happen. Like they've been married for like 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, there's arguments. There's all types of shit. I mean, there's a boxer that just won the Gervonta Davis. You ever hear of him? He's
No.
this little tough,
No.
like lightweight. He smacked up his girl, and then this was like 3 days ago, and then 2 days ago he won like the heavyweight title or lightweight title of the world, and it's like, oh my god. Like, how do you cheer for the guy or whatever? Like, but that guy's more of an asshole because I think he's done it like 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
There's levels to what
Yeah.
you do. Like
When it's your
anything.
7th or 8th incident,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, things just got out of hand is a tougher sell.
Yeah, it didn't get out of hand. You're out of hand.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, that's a wild thing. So if I ever do get into jiu-jitsu, Dana White might be my first.
Yeah. Oh shit!
might
You
be
heard it
the
here.
first one, yeah.
You heard it. You're
So
gonna
if
you're gonna
out there,
avenge his wife.
Stop fucking your wife up.
Stop fucking your wife up, Dana. Stop fucking her up, Dana. Always
Start
leave
fucking her.
Always leave the scene of the crime, and reach out to your bodies. Thank you. We'll be back soon. 2023 going to be a great year.
Happy New Year.